Mexican immigrants are no question being targeted by ICE officials under the Trump administration. But if you could recall, Trump said that he would specifically root out and target undocumented immigrants who were guilty of committing crimes. However, case after case provides evidence that that is not what's happening. And recently, Mexican immigrants from South Jersey who have actually been in the United States for 3 decades were just deported, even though they haven't committed any crimes, even though they are actually business owners and even bought a home in New Jersey. Oscar Campos and his wife, Humberta Campos, are the couple, or is the couple that has been deported. They even have 4 children that were born here in the United States, 24, 22, and 16 years old. I'm sorry, they have 3 children. They were deported back to Mexico, even though they had petitioned to stay. Again, they hadn't committed any crimes whatsoever. In their nearly 30 years of living in the United States, the couple purchased a home and had a landscaping business. The 2 oldest children are also college graduates. So there were no issues with them whatsoever, but it didn't matter. ICE officials wanted them out, and that's exactly what they got.
You know, as I look at a story like that, I wonder if the right wing looks at that and celebrates. And I think the answer is yes. So when you see him hugging his daughter and he signed over power of attorney to one of the older siblings so they can take care of the 16-year-old who's still in high school, a sophomore in high school, and take care of the home's mortgage and the business, etc. Do they cheer? I guess so. They go, yeah, we got him. This guy who had been here for 30 years and he ran here for freedom because there was violence in his hometown in Mexico, and he believed in America, and he came here and he settled in New Jersey, my home state, and led a great productive life, started a business, employed other people.
Yep.
And when we route him out and leave his kids behind and send him back to Mexico, are right wingers thrilled? I guess so. I guess they're really, really happy. Like, we tore that family apart. Mission accomplished, great work.
Well, what's really interesting is that oftentimes when you hear the right wing talk about undocumented immigrants, they have a very different depiction of them. They have a different narrative, and that narrative is the same narrative that you heard from Trump during the election, that they're criminals and they're rapists and they're dangerous. But oftentimes, especially immigrants who have been here for decades, they are job creators. They owned a landscaping business, they employed other people, they had successful kids who graduated from college. They're not doing anything negative here in the United States. If anything, they're beyond productive. They're creating those jobs. But unfortunately, we allowed that anti-immigrant propaganda to seep into society so successfully that now we're unfortunately doing more harm than good. No one's making an argument that we should deport criminals, right? People who are here and they're undocumented, but they're causing problems, they're committing crimes. Everyone agrees they should be deported. But in this case, I don't understand why our resources are being used to deport these people, right?
And actually hurt the local economy. So, I know that if you're a right winger, you got sold a bill of goods and maybe you enjoyed buying them, or maybe you didn't know. But you really think that guy was the cause of your problems? Because do you have problems? You do. So that's what the TV doesn't acknowledge and the politicians don't acknowledge. And that's why you're mad, and I don't blame you for that. Right? So minimum wage is $7.25. You can't live off that. You'd have to have 2 jobs to even get to $30,000. Now you're working 80 hours a week to get to $30,000 a year. So did they suppress your wages? Yes, they most certainly did, okay? You think it was that guy in New Jersey who set up a landscaping business that suppressed your wages? That's the lie they told you. No, it was the donor class who told the politicians, I'm writing you a check. Now what you're gonna do is make sure you do not increase the minimum wage. Make sure you don't have workplace safety, you deregulate all of our businesses, and you make sure that you lower corporate taxes. And in this next outrageous tax cut bill, increase taxes on the middle class. And that's what they're gonna do.
That is what they're gonna do. And so my question is, at what point are they going to realize that they continuously vote against their best interest? Because not only do they think that immigrants like the one that we just profiled for you are the root of all their problems, they also believe that things like minimum wage regulations or regulations in general are hurting them, when in reality, no, deregulating has hurt you. Keeping wages stagnant is something that these corporations have wanted. Cutting taxes for these corporations historically has not created more jobs. In fact, they've been very honest about the fact that they're gonna take that money that they're gonna save from these tax breaks and these tax cuts, and they're gonna go ahead and buy their own stocks or give their CEOs bigger bonuses. How is that going to help you as a worker who's down in the dumps, who's maybe having a hard time getting employed? I mean, and that's another thing. During the election, you will perfectly describe how things go, how things have happened historically with all of these terrible right-wing policies, and they reject it and call you elitist. So okay, at what point are you gonna accept, after all of these policies in the Trump administration passed, at what point are you gonna accept that you voted against your best interests?
So I hear from libertarians especially, but a lot of right-wingers that, oh no, if you just take away all the rules, anarchy's awesome. And so you will magically get higher wages. Like for example, if you take minimum wage. Well, there is one place in the country, and I know it's unique in a little different case, but there is one place where there is no minimum wage allowed. That's prison. You know what the wages are? They're as low as 8 cents an hour. What happened to, no, if you just take away regulation, the wages will go up. Now they're in prison, I get it, it's a different scenario, right? But no, they drove them down to 8 cents, not $8, 8 cents an hour, to $1 a day. That's what they drove them down to. Because if they can get away with it, they will drive your wages to rock bottom until we're all indentured servants.
We can look at case studies that are happening right now as we speak. What about countries that don't have the regulations and the workers' protections that we have here in the US, right? So manufacturing jobs in other countries, whether it be India or China, are they paying their employees a livable wage? Are those employees happy? Are they? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're super happy. Maybe all those people who jumped off the buildings at Foxconn did it because they were so elated with how much they're getting paid that they couldn't contain themselves and they jumped off that building. I mean, come on. It's just so incredibly short-sighted, and it's beyond frustrating to continuously explain this over and over again. People don't get it. So again, vote against your best interests. Have at it.
One last thing. You really think that Oscar and Humberta Campos are the ones who set the rules in America and set the rules against you? That they were so powerful that that's why you either lost your job or you've been downsized to a job that barely pays you living wages? Or could it be the donors who bought off the politicians, and that the Camposes are in the same situation you are, struggling to make ends meet and provide for their family? Your call to make, I guess. If you like this video, bless your heart. We got a lot more where that came from. We do a full show every day, Monday through Friday. Come enjoy it ad-free by becoming a member, tytnetwork.com/join.